Single Simulcast is about a lot of things. This podcast may make you laugh, cry, or pound your fists into your desk. If you hear something you like or something you don't, leave a voicemail at 916-572-9016 or email us at singlesimulcast@gmail.com.
1. Single Simulcast.
Hello.
Hello. Hold on 1 second. I'm ready. I'm just answering questions about basketball.
Oh, okay.
6:30 to 8:30. Open shooting from 8:30 to 9 p.m. Do you talk when you text, or is that just a me thing? Fine, it's a me thing.
Probably, no. I'm trying to think if there's yes. I mean, I talk out loud all the time, so I might as well just say yes when I'm doing stuff or thinking through things, or oh yeah, okay, this, that, this, okay. If I'm thinking of a list in my head or something, or trying to keep it in my mind so I can go write it down somewhere. So yeah, I mean, yes.
This or that. This or that. This or that. This. Come on! Who's the black sheep? What's the black sheep? Even if I saw it, you never see me sleep. Those aren't the words, by the way.
Oh, they're not? See, if you had told me that those were the words, I would have just accepted it. Because I don't know the words either.
I know the words. It's
okay.
It's just that I didn't feel like doing them just then. The lyrics are actually burn-oo-noo, do-noo-noo, burn-oo-noo, do-noo. Here they come, yo. Here they come. Here they come, yo. Here they come. This or that. This, you see I don't know the words, and that's why I'm stalling by doing the entire intro. Who's the black sheep? What's the black sheep? Even if you wanted to, myself cannot be weak. Was it in your ear or was it in the spear? Whatever they say, well, listen here. Yes, DRES. Rip this, I'll show apart. If it's all with you, I'll break this whole thing. No, wait. Back, middle to the front, don't jump. Want a good time, want to give them what they want. Can I hear a hey? Hey, get a yo. Yo, you got a hat? What? It's for the hoes. Oh, cause styling is creative. Black sheep for the natives. Can't be violated or even decepticated. I got brothers on the jungle, cousins on a quest. Deaf and dumb cousins in the... Deaf and dumb uncles and the cousins, let me guess something. Yes, this, that, bow. Miss a long dread black sheep flap now. Know you heard the others, Monies to the lovers. Then, of course, the choice is yours. 90s hip-hop was horrible as far as, understanding what they were saying. Because everybody wanted to flip the tongue. Everybody wanted to flip the tongue, but nobody wanted to just explain what they were saying. In the fact that there were artists out here that I know without a shadow of a doubt have never left Oakland until they got money. They had never left Oakland when they made their first albums, but yet they had a track on their albums where they were acting like they were the reggae gangster. And it was so, they were trying so hard because they could rap fast, and they just thought that made them reggae. And so, they had a part where they were talking normal, and then all of a sudden it would be like, come into my house, come into the posse, the 187 the factor, it's a posse.
Oh, wow.
And so making their voice deeper instantly made it reggae. Okay. So if your teacher says that if you turn in your free night of homework thing, you get nothing, you get no extra credit, then what you need to do is choose your pitch. Right now, when your teacher is like, you can't turn it in and get extra credit for it, that means at some point you get a free night. So don't do it for like little things. Do it when she's like, boom, homie. Matter of fact, ask her if you can do it for your science experiment. Ooh.
That's getting graded. You can't use for anything. It's getting graded.
Then, loopholes.
There's really no point of it. All the stuff that she gives is small things.
Well, just choose a day where you want to play video games and then turn in your free homework pass. But you still have to do the rest of the homework. So you're still doing homework, and then there's just one thing you don't turn in.
No, it's for all day.
Well, yeah, then choose a day that you don't want to do nothing and say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to turn in this free homework thing. It probably won't. I would say wait until like spring and summer when you really, like the day before or day after.
You can't even use for next summer. In the summer, we're going to get off.
Oh, okay. Then never mind. Yeah, go for it. Use it. Let your mom know she's not like, why aren't you doing your homework? Just tell her, boom! Free homework pass. And then drop the mic. Yeah. Not my mic, because it breaks. Okie dokie. If it makes you happy. You know I'm recording the show, right?
Yes.
I will gladly answer one more question, though, DJ. Holla at your boy. Okay. Matter of fact, come here. Tell him what your name is.
My name's Devin.
How old are you?
10.
This is literally the first Devin's Corner in like 6 years. Okay, now go.
My question. My question was. It wasn't even a question. I was saying I was going to use it tomorrow because this week we're doing like a lot of work that's not getting graded.
Okay, so if you don't want to do your homework tomorrow and it's not being graded, then go for it. But you're just going to sit there and wonder. You're always going to wonder,
no,
like...
I'm going to get more.
You're going to get another free homework pass?
Yes.
You're sure about that?
Yeah, when I get a double diamond.
How long is that going to take?
90 points right now, it's 160, not that long.
Okay. As long as you're sure you're going to get that double diamond, then go for it. If it makes you happy, then it can't be so bad. If it makes you happy. Finish up, Shanta. You know the words.
Then why the hell are you so sad?
Sad. That's right. Okay, DJ. Give me a kiss. I love you. I know so many useless songs, like just bits and pieces. I'm like those treasure maps that have the middle of it just cut out and you gotta find it in a different... I'm like Uncharted. Where you're searching for that map. I know pieces of songs, like, and the thing is, I know the pieces of the songs that no one else knows. So I'm singing by myself. Hi, Shanta.
Hi.
You know what? Let me do that real quick. Boom. We're ready. Actually, okay, now it's recording. Hey, Dizzy, I'm gonna close this door on you. Nothing personal. Get out. Nope, he's in. I got a puppy.
I know.
I got a puppy. His name is Dizzy. He's a cute little puppers. And he's like he's like right underneath me all the time. He's a true lap dog.
So, what's up with the cone?
So, what happened was, we found Dizzy when we were coming back from seeing Black Panther the first time. Well, when Kenny was coming back from seeing Black Panther the first time.
Okay.
It was like 10:30 at night, and we were driving down the street, and diddy do, and we saw this little white blur walking down the middle of the street, looking all nonchalant. So, I was like, I've never seen that puppy in the neighborhood before. It has to belong to somebody. You know, it must have gotten loose. So we followed behind it safely because I wasn't going to speed up and run it over. I mean, it's not like it's a squirrel or something. So as we're riding behind it, I know he was like, man, the cops are right behind me. I don't want to look. And so he didn't look back until he got next to another car, and then he ducked underneath the car like a cat would. So he's got the reflexes of a cat. And so Kenny got out the car and tried to convince him to come out from underneath the car, and instead he took off running towards another house. And I got out the car and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do the Hail Mary that people do for dogs that they don't know, which is that good old fashioned, come here, come here, come here, come here, dog, come here. And strangely enough, he came. And which is a good thing, because little did he know, there was a gray cat standing right next to him, like walking towards him slowly, that was about to tear him up. He didn't even see the gray cat. All he saw was me. So he ran towards me, and he jumped in my arms, and love lifted us up where we belonged. And I was like, I have to see if this is somebody's dog. Like, I'm scared that this dog might get hit by a car or something. I don't want to get hurt. So we went door to door to see if anybody had lost a dog. Now, two things we didn't think about in that situation, or two things I didn't think about in that situation. One, it's 10:30 at night, and two, I'm black.
Yeah.
And it's not a nice, it's not a bad enough neighborhood that people aren't scared of me. So, we're going door to door. I'm holding this dog in my arms. Triple Kenny's standing right next to me, and nobody's answering the door because they're intelligent. And, cause I wouldn't answer the door either in hindsight. Somebody knocking on the door like, you got some more, we need borrow some sugar. And so we go up and down the block. Nobody answers the door at all. So I decide I'm going to come back and check again the next day, to see if anybody lost a dog. So we take him home. Initially I was going to leave him out, but he was shivering and it was cold outside, and I felt bad for him because he's a puppy. He's a little guy. He's a cute little guy. And so, took him home, and I'm sitting in my chair. It's my chair, literally. It rocks, and it's mine, and it's the chair I'm going to have when I'm 90, and I already love it, and I fall asleep in it and everything. It's an old man chair, and I'm already accustomed to it. And I'm sitting in my old man chair, rocking back and forth, about to put the lounge thing up so I could put my feet up, and he jumps in my lap like he belongs there, and my heart melted. And I was like, aw, and then Kenny was like, aw, and then we were both like, aw, and then we were like, oh shit, Nisha is not gonna be happy when she comes home and sees this dog. Like, cause Nisha was somewhere, and so she wasn't at home when the dog got there, and we were like, she is not gonna like having this random dog in the house, because we had a dog before. We had a dog. Like, I say that and it almost sounds like a threat in my ears. We had a dog. His name was Toto. His full name was Toto Lee Awesome. Toto Lee Awesome Jones. And he was a puppy, but he was a many dog. Like, he was trying to bite everything moving. Like most dogs try and hump everything moving. Nah, Toto was ready to throw them paws from a very, very young age. And so everybody in the house was scared of him except for me. So we were like, Nisha's not going to let this dog in the house. Little did we know, quiet as kept, Nisha walked in the house and melted as soon as she saw him. Oh, look at the puppers. Oh, look at them. And so Kenny and I are looking at each other like, what the what? Like, you like this dog too? And she's like, he's so cute, look at him! And making those noises where you know it's real. And so we decide that he's gonna stay in the house for that night. And then the next day, I'm gonna go walk door to door to find out who his owner is. I mean, I had already decided that, but then Nisha said it without me saying it, so we had decided it, because if I had just told her that, then she wouldn't have liked the dog anymore. See, logic. That's a level 10 perk of marriage. Like, you got something in mind, but you gotta wait for the other person to suggest it, and then you're like, that's the best idea I've ever heard. So, while we're waiting, Devin, Kid Awesome, goes and finds a small white plushy ball. Not a plushy ball, but like a softer ball. And he throws it, and it turns out this dog knows how to fetch. So not only does he immediately hop in your lap and just sit there like he belongs there, but he plays fetch like perfectly. Goes and gets the ball, brings the ball back, drops it at your feet, and waits. And everybody in the house falls in love with the dog. So then the next day, I wake up early, and I'm like, I really don't want to go out there and look. It's cold outside. And Nisha's like, yeah, it looks like it's going to rain. It's like 74 and sunny. And so we're both looking at each other like, we don't want to go out there because it's going to be cold and somebody's going to think that you stole their dog and then they're going to fight you and you're going to get shot and we don't want you to die over the dog. You should just stay here and he could be our dog forever. And I already took him to calling him Dizzy. We didn't even know what his name was. I just called him Dizzy. But I was like, you know what? I got to do the right thing. So I walked the neighborhood. I walked back where we found him at and I went door to door and some people still didn't answer because, black guy, knocking at 10 a.m. because yes, I woke up at 7 a.m. but it took me another 3 hours to decide to actually go out and find out whose dog this puppers was. So I go door to door. Nobody says it's their dog. One guy says, I think it's those people down there's dog. And I was like, all right, for sure. But then I went to those people down there's house and they didn't answer the door, even though I was holding the dog. Like, they had a peephole. They could have looked out and saw me. Mm-hmm. So nobody answered. And so I went back to the house again and we were like, okay, we want this dog, but we don't want to risk walking down the street with this dog. And they're like, yo, that's my dog. So we decided to go to the shelter to see if he had a chip. Mm-hmm. We went down to the shelter and the first shelter we went to, check to see if he had a chip. And they were like, nah, he doesn't have a chip. And we were like, awesome. And then we were like, but we still got to do our due diligence. So we were like, we want to give him up for adoption, because he's not our dog and we don't know where he came from and he might be lost. So we want to give him to you to the shelter. And they were like, okay. And we were like, this is really heartbreaking for us. So just take the dog so we can leave. And they were like, okay, but we don't take that dog here. You're in the wrong district. So you actually got to go downtown to drop this dog off, not here. So we had to hop back in the car with the dog who's looking us in the eyes like, please don't go, girl. He's literally like, please don't go, girl. And I'm like, oh my God. And Nisha's like, oh my God. And the dog is like, arr, arr, arr. And we get him to the other shelter and we're like, we're not even going to look at him anymore. We're just going to drop him off. And so we walked in, we sat with him for a second, and he was shivering and shaking because he was scared. And we took him to the shelter, and we left. And that was supposed to be the end of it until we got home, and the kids were like damn near about to cry, like, where's Dizzy? And we were like, we took him to the shelter because, he might have been somebody else's dog. And they were like, when do you find out if he's somebody's dog? And they were like, we were like, well, they gave us a paper and told us to call back on Wednesday. If he's somebody else's dog, if he's not somebody else's dog by then, they will start to get proceedings for him to be adopted. And they were like, all right, bet. So that was on Sunday. Devin asked us about him on Monday. I was like, they said Wednesday. He said, okay, bet. He asked us about him again on Tuesday. By Tuesday afternoon, I was like, okay, babe, can you go to the shelter and just check and see if he's okay? Just ask if you could just pet him for a second, just to look at him, just to look into his big eyes. Just he's such a cute dog. And so she went to the shelter and they were like, he's not here. And she was like, why not? And they were like, well, he's getting neutered and he's getting a chip and everything. And they were like, that's really fast. It usually doesn't happen that quickly. He must be getting adopted pretty soon. They were like, they're putting him up for adoption tomorrow, so you'll want to be here tomorrow at noon. So I heard that and I took the day off work.
Okay.
So then I could stand outside because it's first come, first served. And I was going to run in there past everybody, stiff arm people, so then I could get to Dizzy and make sure that the pupper came home. But on a whim, I looked at their website at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock the next morning, and it said that he wasn't at the shelter, that he was at the Petco in downtown Sacramento. And I called over. They didn't even open till 9, but this woman who was silly enough, they didn't open till noon rather, but this woman was silly enough to email me and give me her office number. So guess what I called? And blew up her phone and left messages and emails and all that kind of stuff. She hit me back and she was like, yeah, we showed that he's going to the shelter, to Petco, go there. So I called Petco because they were already open.
Right.
And they were like, yeah, we don't have that dog here. We don't have any dogs here. And I was like, yeah, you do. They said that he's there. And they were like, no, we don't have any dogs here. So I called back to the shelter and I was like, they said they don't have any dogs there. I'm really freaking out and I really love this dog now. And I just decided. And they were like, calm down, big, burly black man. Sir, colored. We show that he's at Petco. Matter of fact, let me call the person who's usually the courier and make sure that he's at Petco. And so they called the courier, and the courier was like, yeah, he's at Petco, go there. And I called back to Petco, and they were like, he's not here. He's not here. He's not. Oh, hey, you're on the phone still. You're standing here in Petco in front of me while I'm talking on the phone saying he's not here. Hey, you're bigger than you sound. So I was like, yeah, so they said that he's here, that he got here this morning, and they were like, well, I've been here since 5 o'clock and I haven't seen any dogs. This person doesn't even work where the dog adoptions are. He's a stock boy.
That's annoying. That's so stupid. That's so dumb. Like, just, you don't have the answers. So admit you don't have the answers and find someone who does have the answers.
Yeah, like in this hand we have shut the fuck up, and in this hand we got help a nigga out. Which one do you want to do? Either way, you gon'. So we walk to the back, and he's following behind me like there's no dogs here. There's no dogs here. I've been here since 5 o'clock. There's no dogs here. There's no dogs here. Oh, look, a dog. Arf, arf, arf. And we see like 3 dogs getting carted into the adoption place. Like the courier is bringing some dogs in. And I'm like, I am looking for a white terrier named Dizzy. And they were like, oh, Peter. And I was like, no, his name is Dizzy. Don't do that. I'm not naming my fucking dog Peter. His name is Dizzy. Respect my gangster. So, they were like, oh, well, we don't have that dog here. And I was like, wait, what? They said that the dog was here. And the courier was like, you didn't let me finish. We don't have that dog here because I brought him here at 8 o'clock this morning. He's already in the back. Let me go ahead and get the paperwork drawn up. And so he had to come because he got neutered. That's the whole story. That's a long story. So he had gotten neutered. So he had to have the cone on for 2 weeks. And after 2 weeks are done, he can take the cone off and he'll be a regular dog. But that dog is literally already a part of the family. Like, he's dope. He really
sounds like it. It sounds like it. That's awesome.
And it's a boy and his dog situation because he follows me everywhere. And learned his name in like a day. And you know what's sad about it? I feel like hate mail could be sent to singlesimulcast@gmail.com. I feel like he feels like he's scared that he'll go back to the streets if he doesn't be a good dog. So, I mean, I'm serious. So he learned his name in a day.
Like, this is my home now. I gotta tighten up.
He learned his name in a day. He learned how to fetch. He got potty trained. He's on a speed course. Like, you want me to soft shoe for you? I'll dance for you. So, like, follows us everywhere we go. Will not go any further than the driveway unless there's a leash on him. Like, I am a kept dog. Do not let me go free. I will not go across the street. I will not go anywhere unless y'all are with me. So, it's pretty dope. The last time we had a dog, like I said, we were knee deep in basketball and he was an aggressive dog. So we ended up giving him to another person that we knew who had an older gentleman who was retired. And so he had a lot of time to just love and pamper a dog. Now I'm no longer coaching like 3 or 4 basketball teams at a time, and we're here a lot more, and the kids are older, so it's a better thing for the dog, because now the kids can walk him. Before, I think Gogo was like 10, and Kenny was 11 maybe. They were too young to really want to walk a dog on their own. But now they don't have a fucking choice if they're 15 and 16. Get the fuck out.
Walk these dogs.
And represent Woo.
Represent Woo.
But let me see. I said all that to say, yeah, that's how we got Dizzy.
Okay.
I don't even remember what I was saying before that. I think I was talking about how rappers in the 90s just be messing up life. Like, the only part of any song from DOS Effects I know is bump skiggity, bump, bump. And then it all just, the screen goes black. Like, it's like a glitch in the system. Like when you're playing a video game, I have this game on my computer where I'll turn it on and it'll get all the way to the title screen, then it goes back to Windows. Like it'll just shut down and crash. I've never been able to play it. That's me in DOS effects. I get to the title screen of bump skiggity, bump bump, and then it just goes back and I'm just looping. Bump skiggity bump. And I realized that there's a few rap songs that I thought I knew, but it turns out that they just have parts of their verse that sound exactly the same. So I've been looping the same verse over and over again. Like I thought I was getting to the next verse and I realized I just don't know the rest of that first verse. And it just sounded different. And so that made me mad. So I love 90s hip hop, but I don't know the words of hardly any of it. I know the words of Pac's music. I know the words of Biggie's music. I know the words of Redman. But them niggas who are trying to rap fast, you know who I know? I know Jay-Z's Nigga What, Nigga Who. The Originator. I know that song because Jay-Z enunciates every fucking word like this. I don't even know how that nigga was rapping fast. Because he really wasn't. He was rapping fast while pronouncing everything. That is a fucking Christmas miracle. And nobody gives him the credit. But you know everything he's saying on that song. Motherfuckers want to act loco. Hit him with numerous shots with the fofo. Like, hit him with numerous shots from the fofo. Like, I knew what he was saying. I'm just going to skip to the next verse. I got a condo with nothing but condoms in it. The same place where the raps were invented. So all I do is rap and sex. Imagine how I stroke. See how it's flowing on my last cassette. Like, what? I know all the words because he says nigger with the full ER. He depends on us like we depend on him, and there's nobody who raps like that ever, except for maybe Big Daddy Kane. He's old. So, let me see. Shante, how are you doing today?
I'm great. I saw Black Panther this weekend, so I am now part of the cool kids who have seen Black Panther, because everybody and their mom started spoiling it like fucking Thursday at midnight. Friday fucking morning, motherfuckers. I'm having to mute all kinds of character names and hashtags and just everything and people. It's just, you motherfuckers, you spoiling motherfuckers. But it's whatever. It was just, it sucked. I think if I hadn't been not feeling well that weekend, I probably wouldn't have taken it so personally. But you had people saying like, oh, well, you had, who hasn't seen this movie? You had 2 days, or it's been out since Thursday. Who doesn't have a reason to go? And I'm sitting here fucking sniffling and coughing and shit. Like, I have a reason not to go, motherfucker. That's why. I'm trying to keep contagion from happening to all the black people at the movies, but you're up here saying that nobody has a reason not to immediately go on opening night, or opening weekend. But, whatever. I made it last weekend. I made it the second weekend.
First and foremost, goddammit, my voice doesn't sound like that. Okay. Secondly, movie pass with your black ass. I told you, just put one of them masks on your face like the Chinese women wear when they're doing Tai Chi in the middle of the park and shit, and get your happy ass over there to see Black Panther. But now, no. Niggas over here spending 35 minutes muting shit like Killmonger was right.
Yo, I really and I muted that too. Like, motherfuckers kept putting like Killmonger, hashtag Killmonger was right, and I'm having to mute like fucking Killmonger is like, not just Killmonger, but Killmonger was right. Like, fucking shit.
It's like you spend so much time listening to figure out people's names and you're like, okay, I'm gonna mute Killmonger. Nope. Killmonger was right. I'm a mute Killmonger was right. Nope. Killmonger is bae. Okay. I'm a mute Killmonger is bae. Nope. M'Baka was just bae. What the fuck is an M'Baka? Oh my goodness. I apologize for nothing. He is bae. And also, like, just even if Look, we're just trying to help you out. We don't know who out there is actually... Again, singlesimulcast@gmail.com for hate mail. Also, if you want to ad space, you can hit us up there. We'll talk to you about advertising. Episode 282. There's some people out there that are just poor. And those poor people will never see this movie until it comes out on Kodi. And they're blocking the shit out of it on Kodi. You gotta know that. I know that. Like, you probably can't even get the Korean version. If you can, guess what, niggas? Half of the movies in subtitles, you can't read shit. So we're helping them out. We're representing for the gangsters all across the world, still. Hitting the corners in them lolos, girls, still. We was doing it for them. For the sick people who will never get out of their beds. For the hospice patients. We can't all pay to rent a movie theater, but we can spoil the shit out of the movie for you. Cause we love you, girl.
Oh my god. You killing me spinning this into like something that was supposed to be helping me. Or helping anybody who's trying to avoid spoilers. And
it's logical to say that there's certain people out there who, God bless them, don't have somebody who wants to babysit their badass kids. And so they're never going to make it to the movie theater. By the time they make it to the movie theater, Ant-Man and Wasp is going to be out. And they won't know what happened in Black Panther. We take it upon ourselves. We take it very seriously. I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If I spoil, it's because I believe there's po niggas out there that just won't see the movie how it's meant to me. Listen to my shit with dignity. Because the greatest love of all is a nigga named Rashanii spoiling the shit out of a movie the day after it came out because you need this in your life. Hashtag Shuri is a Disney princess. Hashtag General Okoye. Like, I feel like even if you muted everything in the world, stuff still got through because people was just making shit up. It really
fucking did. It really, really, really did. It still got through. So I was basically like, I would see something and I would just basically just scroll past that person's tweets. Like because there's a lot of people who have been, debating the merits of different characters and all this different kind of stuff. And yeah, the shit still got through.
We try.
So, but yeah, I knew everybody's name. I knew like all kinds of different, I knew all kinds of different stuff, but then there was still enough stuff, or maybe I had muted quick enough that there was stuff that I didn't, catch.
Did you know that nigga's eye couldn't get right? Like they fixed Forrest Whitaker's eye, but not T'Challa's daddy's eye.
I didn't. Okay, so this is really fucked up. I didn't notice that T'Chaka's eye was as wonky as it was. As far as what is it? Civil War? Because that's when he died. Mm-hmm. He died in Civil War. So I guess we weren't, in his face enough to realize that his face was set up that way. Mm-hmm. But then watching it, it was just like, oh wow, okay, that's what's up. I didn't realize his eye, his face was set up like that. Because I feel like I've seen that actor before in other things, and it was just like, oh man, have I just been missing it? That his eye is kind of, that the way his eyes are set up are not symmetrical or whatever.
That nigga got an eye from Mike Tyson's Punch Out. I swear to God, like, first of all, Mike Tyson's Punch Out has this thing where the sprites couldn't be matched up perfectly. So one eye, like the right eye of every enemy that you fought against, from Glass Joe all the way to Mike Tyson, one eye was lower than the other. He had that eye. He had Toxic Avenger eye. Here's the crazy thing about his eye. And I should feel guilty about being like this. I just can't right now. The more he disappointed T'Challa, the more his eye fell out. That's the crazy part.
Oh, no. No. No.
Or maybe the first time I saw it, I know my eyes were watery because I cried all the way through the first time I saw the movie. So maybe my eyes were blurry, but it really seemed to me like the first time I saw it, that nigga's eye fell all the way to his cheekbone by the time T'Challa said, "I don't want to be here."
Wow.
Oh, God. I feel horrible. Somebody told me that today was going to be like this. So, Shantae, you were a guest on the show. I heard you.
Yes, I was on the Mocha Minutes podcast with Steffi. We recorded it and it came out today. Well, we recorded it Sunday night and it came out. No. Okay, we tried to record it on Sunday and had technical difficulties. Then we recorded it on Monday and it came out today. So yeah, I had a good time with Stephanie. We were talking about all kinds of different shit, cracking jokes, and yeah, just had a great time.
I mean, if y'all want to, first of all, y'all should listen to Mocha Minutes anyway, because Stephanie's dope. Mm-hmm. And congrats on 25 episodes. Keep pushing. I'll see you at 100. But if y'all want to hear Shantae cuss more than she ever fucking has on this entire fucking show, like she's been here for like 80 fucking episodes and just is so prim and fucking proper. If you want to hear Shantae when she's just like off that ripple, niggas, look, nigga, listen, nigga, you listening? Nigga, look, nigga, pay attention, niggas. Killmonger was right, but niggas, listen, if you want to hear Shantae just call everybody a bitch-faced bitch or a punk-ass motherfucker, you need to listen to Mocha Minutes, a.k.a. Ratchet Reception, a.k.a. we watch reality and drag the fuck out of them, because I was shocked. I told myself earmuffs, but I had on headphones, so what the fuck am I going to do with those? And then I was like, this is so dope. And then I listened some more, and I was like, you know what? I don't even listen to these I don't even watch these reality shows, but I know what the hell y'all talking about by the anger. For example, the one who couldn't have the baby, that was Dr. Wives, wasn't it? Or Married to Medicine, whatever that show's called.
Yeah, Married to Medicine. Yeah.
Ooh! I knew that shit. Where's the rally towel? Niggas is hot. And then y'all saw about Kim Zolciak, so that was Real Housewives of Atlanta. And then other shit. You started cussing, and I fell out. And then y'all started talking about Florida, and then it got serious for a second. Yeah. And then that's when I called you. And then I was like, okay. Then I was at basketball practice or the basketball game, and that was the whole thing. With that all said, let me see for one moment. T'Challa. Can you hear this, Shantae?
There's no one who can help us.
Yes or no? No? Shantae?
I didn't hear what you said.
Oh,
yeah, I'm right here.
Okay, but you didn't hear what she said. Okay, cool. Just checking. Give me just 1 second.
Okay.
By the way, I had a request. The request for today was that I drag the shit out of everybody. That was the whole request. And me being a guy who aims to please, yeah, niggas, hold on to your hats. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna say when we get to the show tomorrow, and I gotta write something uplifting so then people click on this shit, because we got shit to talk about, and none of it is positive, and I'm telling you, somebody's gonna be offended if I try hard enough.
There's no one who can help us.
You hear that?
Yes.
Okay. So, white people in South Africa are being denied jobs and soon will have their land taken away without compensation. As a result, more and more people are finding themselves living on handouts in white squatter camps because they are routinely denied help from anywhere else. This is a 1-minute video. Let's go. I'll pause every so often. Just let me know, and I'll stop. I'm good with that.
There's no one who can help us. Because this side of the earth it's bad for us. You can't even walk in the streets at night. During the day, they always rape you or they beat you up. They're swearing at you in the language. They know you don't know the language, but they will come and swear at you. See on the news, shoot the Boer, kill the Boer. We are like just living also. We are like human beings, just like them. Just the color and the language is different.
I just want to pause real quick and say that this is a white woman again in South Africa. You know, the South Africa where white people showed up out of nowhere, colonizers. You'd understand that if you listen to my spoilers after like Thursday for Black Panther. But colonizers showed up in South Africa, basically said we're white and you're not, so we're gonna start running shit down here. Made rules about what black people could and couldn't do, pushed them off their land, basically made them into slaves. In the middle of Africa, white people still found a way. Shout out to Dr. God, I just went blank. The nigga from Jurassic Park. Jeff Goldblum. I'm mad at myself now. Life found a way. Dr. Malcolm. Ooh. But yeah, shout out to Dr. Malcolm. Life found a way. The white folks found a way to subject the black folks in all of South Africa to being slaves and butlers and all that kind of stuff. Nelson Mandela tried to become a freedom fighter and tried to stand up against it. White folks said fuck that shit and threw him in jail for the majority of his life. And then he got out and they were like, okay, now we'll elect you president somewhere else. Basically, white folks have been fucking up South Africa for multiple years. Shanta, did I miss anything?
I mean, it makes sense to me.
Okay, it makes sense to Shanta. So, now black folks are like, fuck that. You know, we just realized that outside of here, it's like us. Like, my cousin lives right up in another country right above South Africa, and there ain't none of y'all there, so why the fuck are y'all here? And all of a sudden it changed. Now, here's the funny part to me thus far, is her saying that they come up to us and they say stuff in their language. They know we don't know their language. How the fuck do you settle in a country and not know the language? I mean, I'm just saying, that's what white folks say to everybody here, right? Like, learn the language or get out. Learn English. Speak English or get out. So they settled in South Africa and did not even think about, maybe we should start learning how to just go along to get along, you know? And so now they don't even know when niggas is plotting against them, and it's great.
But why are they against us?
You know why they're against you. You know what it is, and you know what it isn't, nigga. You know why they're against you.
When black kids were beating my kids up, my 5-year-old, told them this is not for you anymore. South Africa, it's for ours. Our people, we don't have a life anymore. They will make sure about it.
Have you tried to look into leaving South Africa?
If I can get a chance, I will go. If I can get a better life that side of the seas, I will go.
Come and knock on my door. I'll be waiting for you. I feel like Shanta, you're not taking nearly as much joy in this as I am.
I actually, because to me it sounds scary. Like it's scary. Like for all the bullshit, you know, like the bullshit that those people have, you know, that the Afrikaners, the Boers, whatever the fuck, you know, the white people there have put on, the black people, the South Africans that live there, and all the fucked up shit that they've probably done. The thought of being, what I'm hearing her say, like, oh man, we might get, trigger warning, but, just say, like, we might get raped out there, we can't even walk down the street. And that shit is just, the shit still sounds scary. Like, regardless of whatever kind of comeuppance, karma shit, and everything, the shit still is just, the shit is scary. And it makes me think, that this is what, sometimes I think this is what white people think that black people would do if black people here in America would do, as far as like if the tables turned and black people were in power and subjugated white people in some kind of way, oppressed white people. And part of me would used to say, like, oh man, that shit wouldn't happen. We just want to be left alone. We just want to mind our business. We just want to, raise our kids and everything. But then thinking about this, and it's just like, man, what if it did happen? Now obviously it's going to be totally different. Obviously they played themselves being someplace and being the minority. Like intentionally being someplace and thinking that they, at least I feel like they're the minority. It's just like, yeah, you can only, you need numbers too, at least to stave some of this shit off. Cause that's what it sounds like. It sounds like they don't have the numbers, and they obviously don't know the language. So they kind of, I don't know. It's just, the shit is scary. That's what I feel afraid, I guess. And it's just like, oh man, that would suck. It would suck to feel like you're, like, to be so out of it, as far as like, here's some place that you lived your whole life, but the people around you could be plotting on you in a way that you can't even, like they're talking and you don't know what they're talking about. Because obviously motherfuckers can plot on somebody here. Motherfuckers are plotting on people here and everything, but it just seems different over there. And I don't know, that might just be me being sympathetic or empathetic. It is. Or whatever. It
is. And I dig that about you. I ain't even gonna front. I dig that about you. Because I usually I'm the one. Usually I'm it. And it ain't happening today. What I'm thinking about is, that movie that came out called Ants. Not Ants, sorry, that was the one that sucked. A Bug's Life. A Bug's Life. In A Bug's Life, the crickets, the grasshoppers or whatever, I think they were crickets. Larvae, maybe they were,
They were grasshoppers.
Yeah, they were grasshoppers. Okay. They kept showing up and taking all the stuff from the ants. So he kept taking all the food from the ants, demanding food from the ants, all that kind of stuff. And they fly back to their little headquarters or whatever while they're drinking tequila. That was funny. And one of the grasshoppers says to the grasshopper leader, yo, why do we keep fucking with these ants? Why are we giving them a deadline that we know that they can't make? And the lead grasshopper opens up their container of grain and took out one piece of grain and threw it at the other grasshopper and was like, did that hurt? And the grasshopper was like, nah, man, I didn't feel that shit. I didn't feel that. And then the grasshopper threw another piece of grain at him and he was like, did that hurt? And he was like, nah, man, I'm gonna shake it off. Shake it off. Cause the player's gonna play. I'm gonna shake that shit off. That don't hurt neither. And then the lead grasshopper was like, well, what about this shit, nigga? And he kicked the entire bottle over onto the grasshopper who was shaking off all the grain, and like thousands of grains fell on him and he died. I don't know if he died in the movie, but he should have, because it was like a mountain of grains. And the music stopped. It was like, burr, burr, burr. And everybody was looking at the lead grasshopper. This movie is dope, by the way. And if you look at it the way I looked at it, which was white people gonna get it. And except for the ones that I know, I love y'all. Y'all are good people. We'll keep y'all safe. Most of you. As long as you know the code word. And it's not, can I come to the cookout? But he was like, yo, if we let them realize that there are more of them than there are of us, that they outnumber us 100 to 1, they are going to fuck us up. That's South Africa. At some point, they knew in the back of their heads that at some point, black folks are going to realize there's a lot more of us here than there are of you. And you're kind of stuck here. The fuck you gonna do? And so I applaud them for rising up. I mean, it's violent, and like you said, I wouldn't want anybody. The raping people. That's not cool. That's not official. The harming of people, that's not official. And it's weird that I'm saying that, and that's because my empathy keeps trying to kick back in. But it's like, it's almost like you could close your eyes and see that they're thinking an eye for an eye.
Oh yeah, like it's so like they're the choices that some of those people are making, getting back at the white people. It totally makes sense. Like I totally get it. You know, some humans will look at what happened and say, you know what? I'm not going to make that choice for myself. I'm going to I want to continue to think of myself as a certain way, so I won't do that. And then there's other humans who are going to be like, you know what? It's go time. You know, whatever that go time is as far as they're concerned, to get back at those people and, you know, as far as how they've oppressed them.
Also, when I close my eyes, I picture Eddie Murphy singing "Kill the White People." And so all of this just becomes like a small thing of humor to me. It's just what, fuck them. I hope that nothing bad happens to you. I just hope that you get all your land taken and you get forced to live a life of servitude that you didn't expect that you would ever have to live in your entire life, because this land was your land and now it's not anymore. I'm just saying, not the first time white folks have taken the people who actually lived on the land and shuttled them into small, tight encampments and make them slaves and kill them and beat them and all kind of other horrible stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, speaking of white people getting their comeuppance, Taye Diggs.
Yo. Like, I haven't caught, like everything, like, mostly what I've seen are, like, headlines, but he's saying that he, like, correct me if I'm wrong, that he resents black women for making him think that he couldn't be with white women? Mm-hmm. Is that what it is?
Here's how we go.
But...
He felt like black women were salty. He always felt fully supported career-wise, but when it came to his social life, people always made assumptions. These days, there's no excuse, so I have no time for it. And then the interviewer said, because you're dating a black lady now. And Taye Diggs said, yeah, she's mixed. And, he said, when I was 13, I was reading a magazine, and there was a picture of a black woman, and I said, oh, she's pretty, I want to marry her. And my mom said, oh, honey, you're going to marry a white woman. To this day, whenever I'm in the club or whatever, I still get, I thought you only like white girls. People didn't know me. People didn't understand me. It's part of what comes with this business. A certain side of you is seen, and you have to accept the judgments that come with the business. It took me a minute to not be offended or feel the need to justify things. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many times I explain myself, there's always going to be someone talking. Then the interviewer said, did you ever have any resentment towards black women because of some of those attitudes? And Taye said, yes, deep down inside. I don't want to say I suppress it, but I just watch it. When it happens to you personally, even though you understand the logic, there's trauma there. I don't know if I could ever mess with a white girl now. And I don't like that.
Okay, so is this from 2018? Like, this is now, right?
Yep,
like
this is from February 24, 2018.
okay, this is, oh my goodness. Because honestly, I thought there was an article from like a few years ago where he was popping off about black women being mad that he dated white women or some, something, some kind of thing. So I had no idea that he felt like, honestly, I thought he had been with white women and that's who he was intentionally trying to date, and had no idea that he felt like black women were keeping him from being with white women. Like, that is what it sounds like he's saying, right? That somehow our judgments, or whoever the black women are in his life, whatever they're saying or doing was somehow having power over his being with white women. Like, I don't understand that, because I feel like that's one of those things that, I don't know, some black men act like black women have way more power than is like humanly possible when it comes to their decisions and things that they can do and can't do and everything. It's just like, oh man, I can't do this and I can't do that, and black women is gonna stop me, and oh man, like her side eye is gonna stop you from doing anything. Like, that's, I mean, 'cause that's really what it comes down to. Like, yes, black women can voice their criticisms, and they can say all kinds of things. They can give you dirty looks, all these different kind of things. But in the end, you black men can do whatever you want to do. You can go and do any and everything that you want to do. Like, nobody is keeping you from being with your white goddess, if that's what you want to be. If that's who you want to be with. It's just, black women are not stopping you. Even there's obviously black women who do not care, but there are black women who are going to voice their criticisms, who are going to feel some type of way about the shit. But even those women, they can't do anything to you. They can't hurt you.
They can't hurt you, baby.
They can't do anything to you. You can do whatever you want to do. You can be with Becky. You can be with Amanda. You can be with Gretchen. You can be with Marnie. Whoever that.
The fuck is a Marnie?
You can be with that blonde, long-haired goddess if that's what you want. You can run your fingers through her hair, and no black woman can stop you. I want you to know that. You can do what you want to do.
See the birds in the sky. I can fly twice as high. Take a look. It's in a book read by a white chick. I want to date Becky's, but you say no, so I can't go and date a white chick. I want to smell blonde hair. Take a look. It's in a book. The Book of Rachel. Fuck, that brings you back to the Book of Lies. Never mind, back to the story. He said that goes against who he is as a person. So then the interviewer said, well, why do you feel like you can't mess with a white girl anymore? And he said, because I've had to deal with that for so long. It has changed what I think I like or what I'm attracted to. And the interviewer said, so no more white girls? And Taye Diggs said, I don't know. But it's not where my eyes gravitate to naturally. And a lot of people would say I should feel relieved, but I don't. I wasn't raised to look at someone's race or be attracted to one race more than the other. I think any psychiatrist or therapist would probably say it's textbook.
Textbook what?
Textbook, he likes white women.
Like, oh God, it's very, I don't know. This is just, you're grown. You are an adult. like, if you had told me, let's say his career kind of hinged upon black women as an audience, and he kind of felt like, okay, if I date a white woman, that might ostracize my audience, and I need that audience. I could kind of understand if he was making those decisions as far as that's concerned, but he's just, I can't think of the last thing that he's been in that has been solely for black women.
Best Man Holiday.
Okay, sure. But even that, it's not like he's built his career on black women, as far as black women's attention.
Hell no.
As far as his movie career is concerned, and as far as his television career is concerned.
Other than, I think it was Brown Sugar.
Yeah.
And Best Man and Best Man Holiday. I only know him from, like, Rent. And this show that didn't last too long called Daybreak that, nobody watched, where he was chasing after he was actually chasing after an indigenous American named, something Bloodgood.
Okay.
Moon Bloodgood or something like that. And then Rent again. All I really know him from is Rent. And in Rent, he was dating somebody named Allison or Muffy or Buffy. It was a white woman. I know that based on her name. There ain't, Buffy the body, but.
Right, but it's just, even then, he's just a working black man. He's a working black actor. I don't understand why so much of his attraction to whoever he's attracted to hinges upon what black women think. Because it just doesn't seem he seems very extra for all this. This just seems very extra when it's simple for him to just, it seems like it should be simple for him to just date whoever he's gonna date. But then I don't know. Maybe he's being inundated with a whole bunch of bullshit on Twitter and social media, and you just never know what somebody is going through. But this still sounds so extra.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's go to another white person. Stacey Dash.
Wow.
She's running for Congress in California. Did you hang up on me?
Right, as a Republican.
I was about to say, don't hang up on me because...
No. I'm muted because I was... No. But no, she's right. She's running, and she's running as a Republican, right?
Mm-hmm. And she filed paperwork on Monday to run in California's 44th district, which is currently represented by a Democrat named Nanette Barragan. Here's the problem. The district, which includes Compton, Watts, San Pedro, and North Long Beach, has long been represented by a Democrat. It overwhelmingly voted for a Democratic presidential nominee, Hillary Clinton, in 2016, 83% to 12%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know what she's thinking, unless, I don't know, maybe she's just, taking a shot. It doesn't make any sense. But then at the same time, though, you got people who, I would think on the flip side, are jumping into races that have been, for counties and districts and stuff that have overwhelmingly went for Republicans. think, a Democrat is probably jumping in thinking that they might be able to, flip something or whatever. But I still don't know what the fuck Stacey Dash is thinking. I just don't see. Maybe she thinks that they'll just vote for her because she feels like she's famous enough to get voted for. I also wonder if she's going to, she's going to say the right, she's going to say the thing that people want to hear. And it's going to be hard to make a decision. It's going to be hard for some people to make a decision if they're not completely against her. Because she's going to be saying the right thing. She's going to be talking about education. She's going to be talking about the economy. She's not going to run like Donald Trump ran on being against immigrants and shit. She's going to appeal to the people. And then the people are going to be like, oh man, I don't know. Maybe she's okay. I don't know. But I would not vote for her. I wouldn't touch her with a 10-foot pole.
Before she went into politics, I would have touched her with a 10-foot pole. Because before I knew she was clueless, I just knew that she was clueless. So, like she was from Clueless. And I've always said that Stacey Dash, I'm not even going to say she's vapid, because she obviously has something that white people want to hear. Like, she has the it factor for white people. And there's not, you gotta, look, can we give her credit for that? Can we? Real quick, can we? White people don't want to hear what a lot of us black folks gotta say. They don't want to hear shit from us. And somehow she finagled her way into Fox News. Good for you, buddy. She got onto a alt-right website where she was able to write hate speech about black people all the time, and white people drank that shit up. Good for you, buddy. If that's what you want to do. I'm not giving
her any credit for that shit.
I just don't understand where the fuck her family is. Where are you, Dame?
Oh, game. I don't know. You know what? It's just, I bet. It's just, motherfuckers get estranged. It's not estranged. Estranged. There. You got motherfuckers who are into shit that you're not into, and then you just stop fucking with them. And there's no real way that you can get them out of fucking with what they're fucking with. You either gotta love them up close, or you love them from afar, or you just stop really paying attention to what they're doing.
I think E40 said it best when he said, I don't know what you thought when you were thinking, but you shouldn't have thought that. I don't understand. Okay, let's just look at all the ways that she's fucked herself. First of all, she's Stacey Dash. I can't even think of anything that she's done past Clueless. She's really banking on Clueless still. There was a show that she did that was on BET for a week. Maybe. No,
I thought. It was short lived, but I thought it had a season or two.
Yeah, that show, that one. Was it on VH1 or it doesn't fucking matter. And then she went on Fox News. I don't know how she parlayed that. I don't even know how that happened. One day did she just wake up and Uncle Ruckus had just spawned into her body? I don't know how this happened. I saw Altered Carbon. Maybe she's a sheath. Maybe she's just a sleeve. But then she had the gross misfortune of, okay, where the fuck does she live at? I think that's the big question I gotta ask. If she's running for that district, that means she lives in that district. That means she lives in Watts, North Long Beach, Compton. Where the fuck does she live?
I would think that's how it works. That you have to
running,
actually live.
Right?
That I would think that. Now, I don't know if that's, it might be a rule, but motherfuckers treat it like a guideline kind of thing, and they just do what they want. You know, they kind of run where they, you know, wherever.
I'm just shocked the niggas ain't been on her doorstep yet. She talks a lot of shit. And also, she shouldn't run. She shouldn't run, because I can go on YouTube right now. YouTube, I got the link. It was a long time ago and I was lonely and afraid. But I got a link to Stacey Dash's modeling pictures. She should just be a model. A right-wing model. I'm alright with that. I'm not alright with her being in charge of a district of all black people or majority minority. I'm not okay with that. I'm actually scared of what she could do. I feel like she'd be like a Donald Trump in Compton and wouldn't even know it. Like, Donald doesn't know what he's doing either. And I don't know who the hell told her this was a good idea. Who is her weed carrier? Who is her handler? Like, who said this was a good idea? And she had the nerve, the sheer, unmitigated gall, the audacity to make her slogan Dash for DC. Who told her to do that?
I don't know.
Niggas woke up in the morning and said, I'm gonna run for Congress. I can't do that. That's fucked up. How does she even have enough money to run?
But see, that's the thing. It's like, is she running on her own, or is she being backed by someone? Mm-hmm. You know, whoever those someones are. You know, because it might just be, I mean, somebody may just be hoping that because she's famous, because she's black, that it'll be a possibility to get this other person unseated. Because now it's going to be easy for a district, I would think it's possibly going to be easy for a district that's black to choose the black person if they're going against someone who's white. So if you're the opposition, you throw in your own black person and kind of hope that you might be able to squeak something by, especially if they paint her in a sympathetic position. Mm-hmm. You know, if she paints herself in a position that, you know, if she appeals to the right things, she might be able to get some of those people who otherwise would have voted for this other person to vote for her.
I just gave that a proper pause because that was literally the scariest thing I've heard all day. And I've heard a lot of scary stuff. I don't know. I can't imagine a world where Stacey Dash is actually taken seriously in a position of leadership.
I mean, motherfuckers taking Donald Trump seriously.
Don't remind me. I thought that nigga died. Like, can't this be like Coco, where if we stop talking about him, he'll just fade out? Like his hairline. Like, the less we talk about him, the more tenuous his grip on his wig gets. Like, I feel like he's falling to the other side. He's slipping into darkness. He's going to die soon if we let him. Like, if we just stop talking about him, he will go to Dos de los Muertes and just never come back. He'll go to the other side and the bridge will evaporate. I hate Trump. And I still have his book. I tried to delete it and it synced itself back onto it. It won't leave. I can't impeach his book.
That's fucked up.
Right? Now I'm sad all over again. Speaking of that nitwit, this nigga who done ducked the military countless times said on Monday that he would have charged into the Parkland, into that school in Parkland, Florida during the shooting, even if he had been unarmed. Quote, I really believe well, wait. No, wait. Wait. No, wait. I can't do a Donald Trump voice, so I'm just gonna do my my general voice.
Okay.
I really believe I'd run in there even if I didn't have a weapon, Trump told governors who were meeting at the White House to discuss school safety. I mean, he's a 5 deferment draft dodger. People call him Cadet Bone Spurs. And he's talking about he running. Can we talk about that for a second? Running into a school where they're shooting? I wouldn't. The only way I'm running into that school is if my kids are in there. I'm not. If I'm outside and the shooting happens, I'm outside.
Right. And I think that's most people. You know, like that's most people. Like we talked about this on Mocha Minutes, because you know people were making fun of the security guards or the police or whatever they were, who didn't go in, you know, when they heard the shots and everything, but obviously they were hired with the intention that they would protect the kids, I'm sure, if should something like this happen. But it's just like most of us are not prepared for something like that. Even those of us who are trained to, you know, as far as firearms are concerned, aren't necessarily trained to deal with that. Mm-hmm. And they're still, you know, and we're all still human beings, and we all might decide, you know what, I want to live. And that's really just the fucking end of it. You know, we're not like, you know, people act like motherfuckers are like John Wick trained to do shit. And they're just not, they're just not. Like, even the best of us might, you know, fold, you know, in that moment. Cause you can't, everybody's not gonna switch on and go into that mode of, yes, I will give my life for someone else. It's just, it doesn't make any sense. So for him to be like, I would have ran in there without a weapon. No, the fuck you wouldn't. You would not. Most people won't. But see, that's his whole
MO.
You know, yeah, that's his whole MO. And it's, you know, that kind of shit is going to appeal to people that support him, you know, because all they need is just to hear something and they're going to run with it. So then, you know, so they hear that the 4 security guards or the police officers didn't go in, and they say, well, that's why I'm glad Donald Trump is president, because he said he'd run in without even a weapon. That's a hero. That's a this, you know, whatever. You know, not even thinking logically about it. They just got this blind allegiance. So all he has to do is just say this kind of shit and they run with it. You know, when those governors should have been like, man, you full of shit. But they're not going to do any, you know, but they're not going to do that either. You know, because he's the president.
I feel like he's sitting on the corner with his homies. Well, not with his homies, but with his friends, drinking Glenlivet and talking about what he would have done in this situation. Like, oh, yeah, if it was me, I would have said, fuck you, and then I would have just punched him in the face. Poof! And then they would have been down, and I would have jumped over the entire school and done a backflip and dropped a grenade through the roof, and it would have punctured the shooter's skull. Poof! And then it would have exploded, but only on him. And then I would have rappelled from the ceiling, and I would have picked up Ivanka, because that's who I really love. And I would have taken her to safety, and we'd get married. Like, I feel like that's the kind of story that he's telling people. It's just that now he's dumb enough to say it to everybody. Like, he's saying this to a bunch of governors in the White House, and nobody had the guts to stand up and say, "You stupid motherfucker."
Right.
Ain't no way. Like, you're so disrespectful right now. Like, you being the president, nobody told him that him being the president doesn't give him the right to just disrespect everybody. And there are certain people in the world who are like that. Like, once they become a boss, once they make manager, they just feel like it's their job to just be, I can do whatever I want. I could just be as much of a dick as I want now because I'm like this. And, I mean, he's always been like this, apparently. But nobody told him that you need to have decorum. Nobody told him that you need to, like, have some level of just grace when you're the leader of the free world. Piece of shit. Talking about how the security guard who didn't run in will never get a Medal of Honor. I'm not even mad. I'm not. And that's the sad part. I'm too used to this shit now. I'm too used to it. I'm just stunned that he couldn't wait more than 4 months. He couldn't wait more than 3 weeks before he started talking shit about that school and started making himself a hero. And I was talking, I wanted to try and get Clove and Shirley on from chonilla.com to talk about this, because they have mentioned it, but I have been thinking about it for a long fucking time. When I was in 7th grade, there was a book they made us read by George Orwell called Animal Farm. And Animal Farm is about a farm that is being run by a horrible farmer named Jones. He's abusive and all that kind of stuff. And the animals look up under the guidance of an older pig who tells them to stand up for themselves and rise up and take the farm by force. So they do. They run the humans off the farm, and it becomes Animal Farm. It's not rocket science. So then they hold an election to figure out who's going to run the farm. And the election goes between a pig named Napoleon and a pig named Snowball. Nobody else really gets to run because they all think the pigs are better than everybody anyway. Snowball originally wins, and he's talking about all the stuff he wants to do to make the farm better for the animals. Like, he wants to build a windmill and all this kind of stuff. And Napoleon just stands in the back and just grunts and grunts louder and louder over everything Snowball's saying, talk shit about what Snowball's saying, stuff like that. At some point, Snowball actually draws up the plans to build a windmill, because the pigs taught themselves how to write. But before that, he was drawing up the blueprint in the dirt with, I guess they call it a trotter, his paw, whatever. And Napoleon came by and pissed on it. Then Napoleon called his dogs and ran Snowball off the farm. Napoleon then turned around and said he was taking over. And a few weeks after he decided he was going to take over, he said he was going to build a windmill, quite like what Snowball was going to build. Y'all should read the book. It's really good. But here's the thing. In this book and in this life, Donald Trump is Napoleon. Barack Obama was Snowball. Sarah Huckabee is Donald Trump's voice of reason called Squealer. And it all plays out, and it's so crazy to read all of this and then to see all of this happening. And I really want to get them on the show to discuss it further, but it's going to be for later on, probably when we do the summer of guest spots. But it's really laid out, and it's really interesting. We'll be right back. This single simulcast. Okay, hold on 1 second.
Okay.
This is Jarman, aka Shantae's brother. You listen to Single Simulcast. Favorite podcast is favorite podcast. I like listening to it. Hopefully you like listening to it. Enjoy.
What's going on, everyone? It's Justin from the 3/5 Podcast, and you're listening to the Single Simulcast.
This is Phoenix Kalita, and you are listening to Single Simulcast with Rashanii and Shanta, and no, I will not be rapping today.
I'm Amber P. I'm also black, sexy, geeky, and mental. And you are listening to Single Simulcast. Rock on, cool kids.
You're listening to Single Simulcast with Rashanii and my mom, Shanta Fabulous.
Hi, this is Erica, and you're listening to Single Simulcast. I have no idea what else to say here.
That was simply sensational. Single simulcast shall surely surface speedily. Bitches.
Single Simulcast wants your reviews. Leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Google Music, or wherever you listen to us. Tag Single Simulcast with a screenshot of your review on Facebook, or use the hashtag SSCast on Twitter. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Why are you holding that Cheeto like a cigarette?
Yeah, boo.
In your mouth. Where's my mama's cigarette? Y'all know my mama, when my mother died, she was trying to quit smoking, and she had a one of those cigarettes, one of them vapes. Nigga. So sometimes I walk around with it in my ear.
Nigga.
Wow.
Nigga.
She got a Lucy. She got Cheetos.
Pam. Nigga. Pam was smoking. Oh, did shit. Pam know if the mid was still selling? That's what I need to know.
Pam probably was selling the mid.
Okay. Hey,
my mama know how to get a couple coins.
Man, this is my song for real.
She was resourceful. My mother was resourceful. Oh, y'all, speaking of Pam, let me just tell y'all this real quick. When I cleaned up Pam's house after she died, the 50 Shades of Grey book was open on her nightstand. Pam was reading 50 Shades of Grey, and I saw it vibrated in her purse when she died, y'all.
I know this.
I said, I ran to my brothers and said, what y'all doing? Listen, that's why I love Pam. I gotta clean my life up before anybody find me.
Pam trying to get in that red room.
You gotta go to the Lord because won't He make you clean inside?
Hello, this is Stephanie from the Mocha Minutes podcast. On the Mocha Minutes podcast, we like to have fun and we like to talk. We talk about everything and anything. That includes ratchet reality TV, every single one of them housewives. We talk about television shows. We talk about movies, music, and we definitely keep up with today's current events. You know who else likes to have fun just like us? Rashanii and Shanta Fabulous on the Single Simulcast. You can find them wherever you find your podcasts. And that is everywhere because they are everywhere. And while you're looking for Rashanii and Shanta, please come check out the Mocha Minutes podcast. Hope to hear from you soon.
Hi, this is your man Jeremy from the Crown and Collars podcast. And you are listening to Single Simulcast with my man Rashanii and Shanta Fabulous, your favorite podcaster's favorite podcaster. And I'm your favorite podcaster. So that should be your favorite podcaster, because I'm your fave, and your fave's fave. Check them out on Single Simulcast. And check out Crown and Collars, found wherever you can find great podcasts and the CSPN network.
Are you interested in supporting this Black podcast? Awesome! Become a Patreon member at www.patreon.com/singlesimulcast. And for $5, you'll be able to chat with the hosts during our monthly Q&A Awesome session. You can also support the show via our Teespring store at teespring.com/stores/single-simulcast and get a shirt or a mug. You also have the option to put a little something in our cup at paypal.me/singlesimulcast.
You did something, and I heard me.
Something.
I don't anymore.
Something for the honeys. A little something. Something for the honeys. Yeah.
Guy that likes the... I don't even know the words anymore.
I can't remember the words either, actually. That's what was just happening. I was like, what did he say in that song?
I really don't know any of the words.
Yeah, that was his
all you know is, you know what?
Something for the honeys.
You know what?
Something,
I bet you we play that song as soon as we hear it, we're going to know the words sporadically. I'm the kind of guy that likes to pick you up. That's not it.
In my something trunk.
Put it in your butt.
That should be it. That's a much better line than whatever he came up with.
Dang. Montel Jordan, his one, Something for the Honeys isn't even one of his top 5 songs on Spotify.
You serious?
How? Like he has 4 other songs.
Let's get it on tonight. Let's get it on tonight.
Okay. I forgot about that song.
Twice.
Wait, this is how you do it? Is on there twice? It's like a remix?
Probably because, if you have a best of album.
Oh, yeah.
How the fuck does he have a best of album?
I don't know. Let's see what's on it.
Kick back. I turn around my baseball cap. I have a 46 on my lap.
Yeah. Coming right back at ya.
Is this something for the Hunters? Yeah, he is. Yeah, that's what he did, man. He would sound like he was about to rap and he'd sing Tyree Styles.
Baby, this is for you and you and
definitely you.
The type of guy who takes time to just kick back, turn around
my baseball cap.
My baseball
I got a 46 ivory.
So let's see. Female worth my while.
Check
it. I'm so,
and I know
I hit it and I hit it if she's with it.
I get the 5 to the 6, 7 digits. Call her up on my cellular.
And all the shit that I say.
The fun
will begin when I hit the scissors.
You fucking called that shit. As soon as the fucking song played, it was like, I got it.
Single Simulcast episode 282. Shanta and me, Dizzy. DJ was here a little bit ago. So there's this magical place called the NCAA, where black folks work for free. White people too. White basketball players too. But had a problem with them for years. And it turns out I'm not alone. Jalen Rose also has a problem with them. Basically, the issue that is had with them is the fact that they're not paying the athletes to play while making billions of dollars off the athletes playing, which is completely unfair. I mean, sure, my kids do dishes and don't get paid for it, but I give them free room and board and food, and oh my God, I'm the NCAA. Pay those kids. But honestly, the situation that I see is the same thing that Jalen Rose sees, which is the fact that basketball players need to boycott the NCAA tournament. If they don't play in the NCAA tournament, the NCAA doesn't get any money. And I don't think it's ever going to happen.
Right.
I just think that it would be a great idea. Stan Van Gundy was talking about it as well, about how the NBA and NCAA have this stupid one and done rule where you have to go to school for at least 1 year after graduating from high school before you can go to the pros.
Yeah.
It's a stupid idea because in hockey and in baseball, you can get into the minor leagues while you're still in high school.
Yep.
And nobody bats an eye because they're only making like $900 a month to play baseball, or $900 a week. But NBA and NFL, you have to graduate from college, or you have to have 1 year in college rather, before they'll let you step onto the court. Which to me, like, if that's what they want their job to be, why not let them start their job? I know a ton of kids who started working at the age of 18. Heck, I know kids who started working at the age of 17. And you're going to tell me that it doesn't work, but I'm going to say LeBron James and Kobe Bryant, Kevin Garnett, Dwight Howard, with his punk ass. It works. They just want to make money off him.
Well, yeah, definitely.
If you can get 1 year, even 1 year of LeBron James in college, that is worth countless millions of dollars to countless different schools that are going to beg to have him come play at their school. I mean, not even have him play at their school, but like play against their school at their school. And it's a problem because the kids aren't seeing a single dime. They can't even get enough money to get food.
Yeah, like they can't take care of themselves. You know, they're limited to how much, you know, what jobs they can get if they can get a job at all, you know, to take care of themselves, you know, and what they can receive from people, you know, as far as like gifts or you know, and not like, you know, I was under the impression that it's almost like a motherfucker can't give them anything.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're at risk of getting in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Which it's almost like, how can you live in a, like, nobody can give you anything without it, you know, possibly being, you know, getting in trouble behind the shit? It's just, no. But I've over the years, I'm definitely pro pay these kids, you know, something. Like, you either need to pay them, you need to change the way the system is set up so that they can take care of themselves. Just, it shouldn't, you know, because like for every, you know, for some of the kids who are probably like getting cars and clothes and all this different kind of stuff, there's other people who are probably doing stuff just to take care of themselves.
Yep.
You know, thinking that or take care of themselves, take care of their family, you know, whatever that is. It's just they should pay the kids. And I don't, and fuck you if you're they're getting a free scholarship, they're getting an education, that's enough compensation. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you.
And fuck you. You're cool, and fuck you, we're out. So, yeah, this show's gonna have a trigger warning before it even begins. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and put that out there for domestic violence and rape. Yeah, those are two. Heather Locklear was arrested for domestic violence, and she was arrested on Sunday night for felony domestic violence and battery on a cop. The incident occurred in Thousand Oaks, California. Someone reported domestic violence. During the arrest, she allegedly became combative and attacked a cop. As a result, she was also arrested on 3 counts of misdemeanor battery on an officer. According to the 911 call, Heather's brother came to her home and saw Heather and her boyfriend fighting. The brother called 911. We're told cops observed that the boyfriend had a visible mark. Law enforcement sources tell us that when cops tried putting Heather in custody, she became combative, flailing, kicking, and struck 3 deputies. She was cuffed and taken to the hospital for evaluations. She's had domestic violence issues in the past. In 2011, the LAPD was dispatched to her then-boyfriend Jack Wagner's home after the two allegedly got physical with each other during a heated argument. At the time, a law enforcement source told us, quote, she lost it on him and he retaliated, and neither wanted to press charges against the other. Cops aren't saying who she allegedly attacked in the home, and Locklear is in the process of posting bail. Why am I reading this? Here's why. There's a lot of y'all motherfuckers out there who are going to read that or hear that or listen to that or hear me say that and be like, yep, that just proves that not all men. And And while I'm more than happy to agree with you that there are men who are abused by their significant others, there are men who are in abusive relationships where they are the victims. It does happen where women are the aggressors in domestic violence issues. It's not nearly as far stretched as you'd like to put it out there as an argument for not all men. And so, don't do it. Please. Please don't come at me with, see, this is proof. It's not. I mean, if you find a needle in a haystack, that doesn't mean that that there's going to be a needle in every haystack. That just means you got lucky. Unfortunately, men are still toxic assholes, and they're still attacking women at a horrendous rate, and nothing is really being done to curtail it at all. Also, while it's on my mind, not to victim blame, I probably am gonna victim blame, and I apologize for that because there's no real way around this. In the reports that I've read today about women who are the aggressors in domestic violence, the reports that I read all state that the man reacted first and the woman retaliated. Like what I read about when I read about women being victims of domestic violence, they weren't doing anything. They were just, they didn't cook the food right. Or they came home too late, or they didn't call to say where they were, and the man attacks them. It's always funny how many stories or how many things you read about on Facebook or hear about on Facebook where guys are like, yeah, if she calls or she searches through your phone or she wants to know where you're at, take a picture where you're at so I know that you're not out with a girl or anything. Yeah, she's crazy. Nobody ever talks about the fact that guys do that all the time. The emotional abuse, the isolation, the just every single thing that men do to women. But Heather Locklear, let's point her out real quick. And yes, Heather Locklear, this ain't the first time she's done this. And yes, Heather Locklear needs help. But Heather Locklear is one against countless numbers. Can we just say that? Am I allowed to be vague in this situation? A countless number of men who just think of women as their property and just feel like this is the only way that you can get your point across. Quote, end quote. So I hope Heather gets the help that she's looking for. I hope that she gets the help she needs, because there's also reports of substance abuse. But guys, don't come for it. Don't try it. Just walk away from the conversation. Matter of fact, you could type the whole conversation out and just hit Control-All and hit delete. Okay? Okay, buddy? Okay, good. Shanta, how are you?
I'm good. Can we pause just for a second?
Oh, yeah. We can pause.
Okay.
Just for a second, though, Shanta. So, do we want to talk about Black Panther, or do we want to wait like a couple weeks just in case other people haven't seen it yet, like you did?
No, I mean, we can go people on podcasts and stuff, obviously, if somebody's like, oh man, we're going to start talking about Black Panther, they can turn it off. And they can just, they're going to talk about a movie I haven't seen. Let me turn this off. I don't have to make this choice to watch this, to listen to this. But it was hard. No, we can talk about Black Panther. There's actually something I'd love to talk about Black Panther, because there's actually something I want to say as far as Black Panther is concerned.
All right, so folks, what we about to do is we're going to talk about Black Panther. So, if you don't want to hear about Black Panther, get the fuck out. Seriously, now's the time to just, now's the time to say goodbye to all your Negro friends. SIN, see you real soon. GLE, win, like next Tuesday. SIMULCAST, bye, bitches. And now I'll pause for the cause. Okay, I think that's long enough. Is it long enough? I think it's long enough. Like, they probably left when I was singing. If not, I can sing Pocket Full of Sunshine again, but then everybody will leave. Shante, thoughts on Black Panther? Go.
Killmonger is wrong. 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 And here's why. Killmonger is willing to mobilize people to go against their oppressors, which totally makes sense. But where's the organization as far as like what they're supposed to do after they get rid of everybody, after they make the move? Who's gonna lead? Like, what are people in individual places supposed to do other than blow motherfuckers away? How is that helpful? Like, I get it. And I get, like, the emotional aspect of it. But he's wrong. Not only that, I want people to think about when he became king and, like, the looks on those people's faces. This kind of like, what the fuck are we gonna do? Look at the way that he's fucking up our way of life. He burned the heart plant. Like, the motherfucker is Donald Trump. Like, that's who the fuck that is. Who jumps in and just is basically wiping shit out as much as he can, as quickly as he can. Like, that's who the fuck that is. Like, those are the feelings, at least that I got when I was watching them react to him. It was just like, oh my god, this is a familiar fucking feeling of just like, what the fuck is going on? The helplessness that you just kind of just gotta sit there and watch this motherfucker do, just fuck everything up. How is this dude correct, thinking that he's gonna live forever? Like, the whole thing is like, okay, you're not gonna be king forever. Who's gonna come behind you? But you're gonna give up the heart tree. Who's gonna be the Black Panther? Who's gonna take care of everybody? But the motherfucker don't care who's gonna take care of everybody. He's just worried about taking care of himself and revenge. And it's something like that, I don't feel helps us in the long run. Like, if this is real life, like, it's just, the nigga is wrong. The nigga is wrong. Because it's like, okay, he's trained to be, he's militarily trained, he's a SEAL, he's this, he's that. Like, you take these weapons to these people and just say, okay, here, go blow some shit up. Like, how does that's not gonna work. And that's what I'm saying as far as like, and I'm like, hopefully I'm not too out of my depth. I saw this video a while back, and it was with Kwame Ture, formerly known as Stokely Carmichael. And what he was talking about was about the difference between mobilization and organization, where you can mobilize people, you can get people to react, you can get people to protest, you can get people to do stuff, but the people that can organize stuff are the people that get shit done in a long-term kind of way. And I feel like Killmonger was willing to mobilize people, but not willing to organize them, because organizing would have taken longer. You know, you would have needed more people on the ground. You can't just have your one Wakandan or your few Wakandan people, you know, kind of positioned here and there and just drop off some weapons and pass them out to people.
And there was a point where he was saying, we haven't been able to really get very much headway in leeway in regards to getting people mobilized, but these 3 cities are ready to ride. Like, he was initially talking about, we got people all around the world who can just distribute guns, and then the next day he was like, we got like 3 cities. But then 3 cities is down for the cause, and it's like, okay. When you looked at the movie, what did you like? I looked at the movie as a tale of 2 cities. And my thoughts on it were, yes, Killmonger was wrong. Killmonger was very, very wrong. The way that he interacted with black women throughout the movie was horrible. He treated black women from the very beginning, even before he was in Wakanda, even before he was fighting a battle against the Dora Milaje. He was treating black women like they were just pieces of a puzzle. Like his girlfriend who he shot, didn't even need to shoot her. He just shot her. You know, Claw had her. He wanted Claw. Claw wasn't going to let go of her, so he took her out of the equation by shooting her. Danny Glover said early on, you never shoot the hostage. And then when the heart flower, the heart plant, the woman who was saying that if we burn this down, there won't be any more kings, he assaulted her. Didn't even need to. She seemed like an old woman who was still coping with the fact that he had just killed Missouri. So the way that he dealt with black women was atrocious. Period. Full stop. I can't help but to think about how would things have been different if was a fifth. If his father had survived, how would his life have been different? And the reason why I think about that is because he's a young kid when his dad was murdered by his uncle that he saw fly away. Like, all them other kids may have been looking up at the sky like, is that a UFO? What's going on? But he looked up at the sky and knew who that was who was leaving his apartment. They didn't take him back with them. Instead, they left him in Oakland, aka, well, Oakland in 1992, aka Crack City. They never mentioned a mom. Like, ever. Through the entire movie.
Right.
So, I'm thinking he grew up without anybody. Might have went into the system, might have just lived with no guidance but the streets of Oakland. And the first song we hear after we hear Eric asking his dad to tell him more about home, which his dad held in front of him like a magical land where the sunsets are beautiful and nothing ever goes wrong. Sounds like a fantasy to a kid in Oakland. He even said so. But the first thing we hear after that is Too Short in the trunk. That's the music that's playing. Culture wise, the music that's playing is Too Short. The ideology behind it, or at least the ideology that hit me, was pimps and hoes. Because that's all Too Short was talking about back then. It's all Too Short was talking about now. And that's what's pumping in this kid's ears. He's not in the Oakland Hills or anything. He's in the Oakland projects. The way I looked at it was, T'Challa was a Black Panther coming out of Wakanda. But Eric was a Black Panther coming out of Oakland. With no guidance. No nothing. And the way that he treated black women, I can't even equate it to anything. Except to say that if he didn't have a mom, and he didn't have any support, and the only support he had was the streets, he would look at everybody like they were just another thing standing in front of him. And at the end of the movie, when he said, I just want to kill everybody who's loyal to you, I just want to kill you, I just want to get revenge for my dad, that really pointed out his entire thought process. All he wanted was to get revenge for his father.
Yeah. Which is part of why he's wrong, because his intention on the surface sounds like he's trying to get people free, but that's not really what he's trying to do. Mm-hmm. He's not really trying to get black people across the world free and out from under oppression. You know, because if anything, I mean, because you look at him, he's an oppressive person. That's why I say it's like he's Donald Trump. It's like he goes into that situation and is exacting his will in a way that is just basically turning the lives of the Wakandans upside down. You know, and he is a sympathetic character, you know, as far as losing his father, as far as being left behind. And yet his execution is just bad. It's bad. It's bad. And also, damn, there was something else that I wanted to bring up about him, but it's slipping away. Just other than him just being a bad dude. It's gone. I can't even think of what the fuck I was gonna say.
You're gonna remember it right before you fall asleep, and you're gonna be mad.
I probably will be mad. But I know what it is. I got it. It was as far as like what I felt like the movie, what hit me about the movie was T'Chaka's choice to leave him behind in an effort to protect Wakanda, right? But the problem is his attempt to protect Wakanda almost got it destroyed. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he had made a choice, like, he could have accepted that he killed his brother. And it was fucked up that he killed his brother. But he could have taken that child. He could have taken Eric and taken him home. Instead of thinking that by leaving Eric where he is, that whatever problems Eric has won't come to Wakanda. But they did. You know, and it's a lesson in trying to run away from things, you know, or to try to, you know, avoid things when you gotta face that shit. Because if you don't face that shit, you may not have to deal with it, but somebody else will. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's basically what happened with T'Challa. T'Challa had to basically T'Challa had to protect Wakanda. And the Dora Milaje and Nakia and, Shuri having to right this wrong as best they know how. When all T'Chaka had to do was bring, you don't know, like, obviously hindsight is 2020. Eric Killmonger, obviously that's not his name, when he's not born with that name, but he could have still exacted revenge on Wakanda in some kind of way, but we'll never know. As far as that kind of situation is concerned, we'll never know if T'Chaka could have made a different choice as far as he was concerned. Could have imparted to Eric that, yes, this fucked up thing happened. And I will always beg for your forgiveness. And I may never get it. But your family, what's between me and him is not what's between you and I.
Mm-hmm.
And he could have taken, because the whole thing is, it's just like, if you're the king and it passes to your children, then I don't understand why Eric was a threat. At least on the surface. Unless you think, because he still seemed like a young dude. They're already practicing this kind of isolationist kind of government, so they're not really fucking with other people. They're not, they keep saying that we don't make war with other people. That's not our way. So it's like T'Chaka's not in danger of dying and Eric becoming king. And it still seems like he has to, there's still procedures and all kinds of shit that has to happen before he could even become king. It just seems like it was going to be T'Challa, regardless, whether he's born at this time or not. So I don't understand why Eric had to be left behind, what he was protecting by leaving Eric behind, rather than bringing him home. Or at least putting him with someone else. He could have did that. He didn't, even if he didn't bring him back to Wakanda, he could have taken him to someone else. He could have said, okay, something's happened to your father. You need to be with people who can take care of you. We're not just going to leave you behind. I'm not just going to leave my nephew behind. I'm not just going to leave family behind and just be like, fuck it.
I think that he didn't want to bring him back because he didn't want to see his sin in Eric's eyes.
That makes sense.
And it seems selfish. It is selfish. But that's how I can cope on a day-to-day basis. By not having to wake up and see this kid who's living without a father. Lord, help me if this kid gets close to me and he's my nephew and becomes a part of my heart. Lord, help that. I can't do that. I have to make this decision now. So I wish that he had taken him, like you said. You're absolutely right. There's spies throughout the United States. There's spies throughout the world. He didn't even know that Zuri was a spy. His dad didn't know. They were like, wait, what? Nigga, you, what? Like, I never even thought to look at your lip. But they could have made that decision. But like General Okoye said, it's Wakanda first.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else comes second. And the king had said to T'Challa that he was too nice of a guy he wouldn't be able to make the tough decisions that a king would make. And I think that that's one of the decisions that he was talking about, was his decision to leave his own nephew behind in the midst of Crack City after he killed his father.
That's so terrible, though. Because it's like because it's like I said, you make this decision and you think it's the right decision, but your decision, almost got your son killed.
Mm-hmm.
And almost got Wakanda put in a light that that they've intentionally tried not to be put in. I think that perhaps that's why they keep emphasizing that making war with others isn't their way. But if those weapons had got into the hands of regular people, and then it's like, well, where'd you get these weapons from? Well, we got them from Wakanda. It's just like, oh, well, shit. Now y'all out here making these kind of weapons. Like, people would have rolled the fuck down on Wakanda. Either to destroy it, steal the weapons, or both. So,
I'm caught up with even more now the connection between how short-sighted his idea was of all of these disenfranchised people getting guns.
Mm-hmm.
And
like that's what they need.
Like you said, it sounds Trumpy. It sounds like Trump. What we need in these schools, instead of stricter gun laws or gun control, is for everybody to have a gun. Somebody tweeted, hey, instead of just giving the teachers guns, let's give the students guns too, and then we can really party. And it sounded ridiculous, but at the same time, so does giving teachers guns, and so does giving every disenfranchised person, because he didn't just say black people. That was the other thing. He didn't say just black people. He said disenfranchised people. He meant all these niggas. Eritrean, Hmong, Filipino, Puerto Rican, Hispanic, everybody who was downtrodden. He basically meant everybody who wasn't white was about to get a gun. Well, here's the question. When there's no more white people to shoot, who do you think they're going to shoot at next? Just asking. Ain't like they're just going to put down the guns and revolution's over. Also, who's going to train them on how to use the guns?
Yeah.
It wasn't a good plan. Like, who's going to train these teachers to use guns? Who's going to take that time out to put them in combat situations so then when they start... Look, I can go to a shooting range and shoot a long time. I can shoot till I'm proficient, and I could do like 20 headshots and 14 nut shots, whatever. But when somebody's shooting at me, there's a difference between shooting at something that can shoot back. I don't even like getting hit in paintball. So what kind of position do you think you're putting people in who really don't want to be in that position? We didn't enlist. This ain't the army. This ain't even the police department. This is Grant Line Elementary School. And I'm a lunch lady. I'm a kindergarten teacher. I'm a teacher's assistant. Somebody said, do you get the substitutes guns? What happens when a white teacher feels threatened by a black student? I've seen a white teacher try and go heads up with a black student, like try and throw hands with them in class.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that a few times. What happens when they have a gun? That's where Killmonger Needed to give it a lot more thought. And the thing was, Nakia said such a more peaceful approach, but she was like, we need to help out people who need our help.
Right. Like, she obviously was against, like, Nakia and Killmonger were both against the isolationist thing that had been going on in Wakanda since the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that Nakia obviously wanted to use their resources and their technology and, the things that they have access to help other people, which totally makes sense. Where Eric was like, we got these guns and we gonna blow motherfuckers away.
And that's gonna show them. That's how we're gonna get our power. We're gonna blow them all away, and then the ones who don't want to get shot are gonna be slaves. And then what, Eric? I don't know. I'm trying to get the Wakanda niggas.
And it sucks too. So another thing that sucks too is, like, I hate that his uncle trusted Claw, or I hate that Eric's dad, I was thinking T'Challa's uncle, Eric's dad, trusted Claw enough to, betray his family, betray the country. Because it's like, man, why would you trust him? Why would you trust that dude? Why are you trusting, white people to help you to do anything? It was just like, no, you don't do that. Like, that's the wrong thing to do.
Who's your favorite character in the movie?
Favorite character? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Okoye. Maybe M'Baku. I thought M'Baku was funny. Are you done? That was funny. And then I really like, people kept, obviously, because spoilers and shit, motherfuckers were talking about, they were saying that he was barking, and it's very clear that he was oohing like like a gorilla would, and that was their god and everything. That's what they're, that's who they. I liked that scene. That Oh, and man, I don't know. I had a bunch of I loved Shuri. Mm-hmm. Like when the white dude rolled up and he's scared and he was like, "Don't scare me like that, colonizer." And that was funny. So yeah, and her jokes, when she was clowning T'Challa's shoes, what are those? And it was. I really fucked with it. I really fucked with just about everybody, even though motherfuckers. It was hard to fuck with Forrest Whitaker, because everybody been making fun of his accent. The Black Panther. Making fun and everything. So that's funny. But yeah, Okoye, Shuri, M'Baku, definitely fuck with them. Fuck with Kabi. That was another thing too. I really didn't I understood that Eric brought Claw, and his whole thing was Claw killed his family and blah 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 whatever. But it just felt so like you don't even know who this dude is. Like, really, you just gonna roll with this dude just because he brought this dead guy to you? Like, you don't even know who this man is, what his angle is. This just like, this is enough. This is what you needed. Like, he was whack.
Another dude who lost his father. I just want to point that out. 3 main guys in the movie lost their fathers, and how they dealt with it in different ways. And 2 of them, the 2 that went fuckboy route, they didn't show a mom. They didn't show a lady presence. Meanwhile, T'Challa had the Dora Milaje. He had his mom. He had his sister. He had his dad all the way up until he was old enough to be king. we don't know when Wakabu or whatever his name was, Wakaba, lost his family. We do. I'm sorry. 92, 91? Because that's when he bombed everything. So, yeah, when he was a kid, Eric and Wakaba lost their parents at about the same time. And that was the thing that really just stuck out to me, other than the fact that you should always trust black women, like obviously. The thing that stuck out to me was these folks who are growing up without guidance. And they're all searching for something. 2 of them are searching for revenge. 1 of them is searching for enlightenment, really. Like the one that grew up amongst the black women, learned or is already fully just engaged in the mindset of, I trust black women. I will ride with black women. Black women have protected me. Black women have helped me. Black women have never steered me wrong. Black women are super intelligent. Black women are wonderful. Black women are just the most delightful parts of his day-to-day life. Honestly. And the other ones, one of them has pet rhinos. And the other one is in Oakland. But yeah, no, I think Shuri was my favorite character. Just based on, I'm a sucker for inventions.
Okay.
So my favorite movie when it first came out, I loved Iron Man strongly due to the inventions, and it's the same thing. But she's also just an exceptional character and hilarious. The moments that she has with T'Challa were just, every moment was great. And it turns out that Donald Glover actually rewrote some of the lines between them to make the dynamic funnier and more like a brother-sister relationship.
Okay, that's cool. Like, I know I read that he was in on some of the jokes and everything, so for it to be specifically that's dope.
But, yeah, no, I cried all the way through the movie. And I've seen it twice so far. I plan on seeing it again tomorrow. My team lost in the playoffs today by 2 points. So season's over. So that means I got time now, motherfucker. So I'm gonna go see Black Panther again and cry. But the first time I saw it, it was all older black folks and me. I went to see it at like 12:10 in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was, Nisha and I had come to the decision of was that there were going to be 3 different groups who were going to see Black Panther. There were the black folks who were going to see it because it was black people in a country in Africa. There were folks who were going to see it because it was a Marvel movie. And then there were going to be black folks who were going to see it because it's Black Panther. And I think that I got there amongst a mixture of the two. The black folks who were seeing it because it was Black Panther and the black folks who were seeing it because it was black folks in a country in Africa. And so I cried. Like, as I saw just the beauty of what could have been, I cried. I don't even think it would have taken vibranium for us to be that successful. There's tons of places in Africa that are just so technologically advanced. I cried. And then the second time I went to see it, it was full of white people who didn't laugh not once at the entire movie. Didn't cheer not once at the entire movie. I think they were shell-shocked that they weren't in it more. They weren't in it. They were being told to shut up and sit down. I love that movie. I am literally waiting for it to come out on Blu-ray. I'm trying to take family members on top of family members to go see it. It's that important to me. Was there anything else you wanted to mention?
No, I think I'm good.
Got any shout outs?
Yeah, shout out to Stephanie for, letting me be on her show. So make sure you check out episode 25 and all the other episodes of the Mocha Minutes podcast.
And shout out to y'all for listening. We greatly appreciate it. Share the show with your friends. Share the sugar. I don't feel like I was ratcheting up this episode. I feel like I need to drag more people. It'll come. There's niggas who deserve it. There's white folks who deserve it. Everybody can do it. This Single Simulcast, episode 282. Thank you so much for listening. We appreciate you. And we're out. Peace.
This is Single Simulcast. Don't know by now that you slip.